And then when you see, like, no offense, but when I first saw the Beyond Power, I was like, this is just another gimmick. This is just another little gimmicky thing that someone's trying to like convince. And then, you know, in a year's time, it's going to disappear. No one's going to be using it. And so I feel that I'm just a bit more apprehensive when seeing like, you know, technology in fitness. I also think there's a lot of technology in fitness that I have seen that I haven't been a fan of. I don't know. Maybe it's like, maybe because I like CrossFit, which is very old school. And it's like, it's gone back to the bare basics of barbells and kettlebells and body weights and gymnastics. But you know, when I go into a Globo gym and I see that like every machine has, you know, a digital screen now and it counts your reps and you can kind of plug in your memory card and it basically updates all your data. I don't know, something about that doesn't feel right. Because I think it's because exercise, and I'm just saying this for the first time, so my thoughts are a bit all over the place. But I feel like exercise and movement is something that's very rudimentary and primal. Something that like humans are made to do. So I feel personally when technology gets involved in that, it just feels like there's two things clashing personally for me. But I think I'm probably in the minority. And I'm not saying this about the Beyond Power and the Voltra, but was probably my natural guard when a tech fitness company first came. I don't know. Am I in the minority here? Have you heard that before? Do people say that?
Yeah.
Do you agree?
I mean, I can definitely see where you're coming from. I would say for a lot of people, or for a lot of markets, that is the case. You know, they're still fans of free weights, barbells, and bumper plates. That's like the only thing they would ever train with. So I would say, yeah, that's kind of the and then we're trying to tell them that we're not trying to replace it, like what you said, but we're kind of adding an extra layer to that traditional training.
What do you think are the biggest barriers to entry that the Voltra has for more people buying it? That's stopping more people from buying it.
I would say just actually understanding the product is one, and besides that, probably the price point. Yeah, probably these two.
How do you? I mean, is the goal to ever bring that price point down? Like, how much does the Voltra sell for?
So the Voltra itself in the US is $2,099, so that's not cheap.
What's a cable column? Dude, I'm gonna say a cable column is more expensive than that.
Probably a couple grand as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna say a cable column is actually more expensive than that.
Like a fancy one,
and it's impossible to move as well. So once your cable column is down, it's not going anywhere.
Yep, but people, well, I could make the argument that like a cable column will last me a very, very long time.
Yeah,
you know, you see those feedbacks.
Well, what's the lifespan of a Voltra?
I can't really tell you because
nothing's died
I can't
yet.
really say exactly. We're so young. But what I can tell you is, in theory, since the resistance is generated by a electric motor, so the stator and the rotor is actually not grinding each other. So there's very, very minimal wear and tear. So in theory, it could last a very, very long time, especially given that both the cable and the battery pack is replaceable. So in theory, it could last for a while.
I think it's pretty cool that your little device just plugs into like a USB-C and it charges like an iPhone. Basically like an iPhone. You just sit it next to a socket and it charges up pretty quickly and it's good to go for quite a while.
Yep.
Oh, that's quite a neat little feature.
I mean, that's pretty normal if you ask me.
True. But again, charging a piece of fitness equipment, I think that's just what is weird for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's nothing else in my gym that you need to plug in and charge. So I don't know, it just feels like a very novel experience and a very novel concept.
How's the battery life holding up for you?
Yeah, pretty good. I mean, I think I've only charged each one maybe a couple of times.
Like every week?
No. Well, I guess it just depends on the frequency, because I feel like it's one of those things that when someone brings it out and attaches it to the rig, which to be honest only takes like 30 seconds, but once it's out, everyone wants to use it. But if it's not out, you know,
nobody remembers.
People can't. I don't know. But just once it's out, it gets used non-stop. But I think it's just like the getting it out and setting it up, which to be honest is a very, very easy thing to do. So no, the battery life has actually been lasting. It was surprisingly good. Surprisingly good.
What do you usually do with it?
So personally, I've been playing around with it. I've used it a lot for like my accessory work. So if I'm ever doing isolation work, so we don't have a set of cables in the main gym. We have one in our personal training room. So if I wanted to do isolated work like biceps, triceps, delts, rear delts, rotational work, because I'm not really a fan of bands because I just don't like the resistance curve on it. I've been using it a lot for that. Rowing, like pulling variations, has been fantastic. I think just because of the ease of being able to change the height of the anchor, versus we have a really good Watson cable machine, but you've got two anchor points. You've got a low anchor point for cable rows, and you got a high anchor point for cable pull downs. There's nothing in between. Whereas this gives us the opportunity to anchor it anywhere from ankle height to almost a ceiling. And then so you just play with different angles. Pec flies, like flies have been really good because you can anchor it to the rig, and you can choose how wide you go on the rig based on how our different rig widths. So that just changes the placement of tension on the tissue. That's cool as well. We haven't talked about the board.
The platform?
The platform, and your board didn't sound right. Okay, so you got a platform.
It is a board.
So basically it's a sexy plank of wood that you can attach. You attach the Voltra to it. So basically it's anchored on the floor now. You stand on the wood, and then you can do deadlifts. I did some curls the other day to play around with. Bent over rows. You can do belt squats. So I think Ant really put it to good use when he had his elbow operation, because he couldn't back squat, couldn't front squat. He was doing a lot of safety bar stuff, but to change up his squatting stimulus, he did belt squats. So we built pads up either side of the platform. So he started an elevated surface.
Get more range of motion.
Yeah, and then just did high rep squatting. But I mean, it didn't even have to be high rep squatting, because you can go up to 200 pounds, which is pretty tough. But we had him do like cyclist squats, so like heel elevated squats. I mean, belt squats are fantastic because you don't have to load the spine, and you can still smash your legs. So that was really cool. I would really like to try and get the Voltra. I would love to try the double. I think you have the ability to have two on the floor, right, where you can attach a straight bar and actually do 400-pound deadlifts technically.
Yeah, so in our lab, we do have a platform with two docking points. So you'll be able to pair two Voltras and do lower body workout to a maximum of 400 pounds.
Yeah. So we've done that quite a bit, and we programmed a lot of RDLs for our clients.
But you attach the Voltra on the racks, right? Not on the...
No, we use a platform for Romanian deadlifts.
Oh, okay. So just one Voltra.
Just one Voltra.
Okay.
But we've been using that a lot with our PT clients. And I think, for some of our PT clients who've been training here for 10 plus years, it's just nice to have something new. And I think when they play around the eccentric overload function the very first time, that's pretty mind blowing. I think
you should film their reaction.
Yeah. I think I do. I think I posted a lot of them on my stories just when they do it, because it's kind of like they feel that first pull and they're like, whoa.
That always throws people off.
Yeah. It's a very, very, very cool function.